Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Quite a few years ago, I made a video on WrestleMania 12, calling it one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. At that point, it was one of the WrestleManias that I least liked to watch. For some reason, fired up on Peacock last night. WrestleMania 11. It's not normally a WrestleMania that I think about that much. I was kind of thinking, like, when is WWE going to put Lawrence Taylor into the Hall of Fame? Kind of a tricky name that is out there, but, a celebrity that actually came in and wrestled a real match that sold a real pay-per-view, and not only that, the biggest pay-per-view of the year, WrestleMania. Let me tell you this. WrestleMania 11 isn't a forgotten about pay-per-view for a reason. This thing sucks. There ain't no other way. There's no way to candy coat this thing. There's no way to talk about it any other way. WrestleMania 11 is more than likely probably the worst WrestleMania that there is on the card. From the very beginning of the show, you feel that they are hyping up WrestleMania because of the fact two of the biggest stars that ever wrestled for the history of the WWF are now wrestling for WCW. They can't rely on the names of Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage because they don't want to put them over saying how good they used to be in the past because they're now wrestling for WCW. So your opening of WrestleMania isn't about how great the matches have always been. Your opening of WrestleMania is about how many celebrities flocked to WrestleMania. How it is the Super Bowl of wrestling. And they show a montage of Liberace to Muhammad Ali, Regis Philbin, all of the WrestleMania celebrities that have jumped in from year to year. Now, this year's WrestleMania 11 that happened in 1995, it is headlined by a celebrity, Lawrence Taylor, who had just retired as one of the best linebackers in the NFL, playing for the New York Giants. This Super Bowl being held in Hartford, Connecticut. Find that on a map for me. It is sort of close to the New York market, where a lot of New York Giants fans would go buy tickets to see their former legend wrestle in a wrestling match. The biggest plug of anybody on the show, going back to the Royal Rumble, would be that Pamela Anderson would be with the winner of the Royal Rumble who challenged the champion. That, of course, would be Shawn Michaels, some guy from NYPD Blue, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who was a huge name at the time. I would honestly say that if you were growing up in that time, he would be on the cover of all the Tiger Teen Beat magazines back in the day. He was kind of like the child heartthrob. It never really related to him having mainstream success. Besides for that one movie that he made with Chevy Chase. But, hanging out on Tool Time, Home Improvement with Tim Allen. He was kind of the one kid that everybody wanted to see. He ends up in the back just playing chess with Bob Backlund, I think is the biggest thing that he ends up doing on the entire show. Honestly, Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, all on this show. And I understand why, Diesel versus Shawn Michaels is not the main event, even though it is the WWF Championship match. But it is a match that is really good, but yet it is a match that is very forgotten. Bret the Hitman Hart wrestles a match against Bob Backlund. Rivalry that goes back a year to Survivor Series, where Backlund beat him in an I Quit match, where they were doing a transfer of the title, where Bret lost it to Backlund, and the next night lost it to Diesel. You can go round and round whether they, just wanted to have a big guy in the territory hold the belt. If Bret just wasn't working and wasn't selling tickets anymore, I'm not quite sure. But you've got those three big names. And it is almost like they threw out the white flag on this show, just basically saying that they knew they weren't going to get it done. We go to the main event of this show. All bent out. It's just Celebrity, celebrity, celebrity. Bam Bam Bigelow going up against Lawrence Taylor. For you who don't remember how this whole thing got started, basically Bam Bam Bigelow is a member of the $1 Million Corporation led by Ted DiBiase at the time. Bam Bam Bigelow was in a tag match at the Rumble. He ends up losing his tag match, and as he's leaving, Lawrence Taylor is kind of in his face, laughing at him, and Bam Bam Bigelow ends up shoving Lawrence Taylor. The first worked shoot of my life that I fell for. This shove, I remember, was on the sports machine. I remember it was on the news. It was on, the sports telecast. Everybody was putting this on. I didn't have cable at the time. I don't 100% remember if it was on ESPN. But I bet this was probably one of the first wrestling moments that I can remember that did transferred that probably deserved to be on SportsCenter. Lawrence Taylor comes out with his buddies. You see Hall of Famer Reggie White, Dallas Cowboy, who became a 49er, Ken Norton, who is a Hall of Famer, Steve Mongo McMichael, is one of the guys that ends up coming down. Bam Bam ends up coming out with, the $1 Million Corporation guys, which surround the ring, almost making it like a lumberjack match, but it's not officially named a lumberjack match. But Bam Bam, he got paid a lot of money to do this job. And there was a lot of people who thought he shouldn't have done the job because, Lawrence Taylor was not a wrestler. I think the money that I've heard is $250,000. And now to this point, it took him a long time because he ended up having to leave WWF, go to ECW, go to WCW. He probably just worked independents after WCW closed because they don't really remember. But it was pretty early in the 2000s that Bam Bam dies. He doesn't go into the Hall of Fame until, I believe, it happened somewhere in that time period that I just really wasn't 100% into wrestling. 2019, maybe they didn't do it 2020, so maybe 2021. He was in that class, I believe. But he really helped Lawrence Taylor. When Lawrence Taylor wins this match, it took everything out of him. He was not selling. He was dying. He was blown up. But Lawrence Taylor gets the win. Big WrestleMania moment. I understand, Lawrence Taylor got in some trouble in his life. It's not highly remembered as one of the best WrestleMania moments because I'm trying to word it right. What happened? He was paying for some prostitutes, and the prostitutes ended up being underage. So I'm not sure if when it went down, he went down for underage sex or if he went down for prostitution. But one thing led to another. I'm pretty sure it was both, and I think that's the one reason why WWF hasn't put him up on the stage. No matter how you look at it, you can be like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It's still bad. It's bad. And that's not the kind of press that you want to put on your company. I know that Ric Flair is personally friends with him and has pushed for him to go into the Hall of Fame. And I don't know how far it's ever really gotten. It's been talked about where you see it pop up on sites from time to time. But I don't know. In my opinion, Lawrence Taylor, he was a celebrity who came into wrestling, who really did it. He gave his all. He WrestleMania, he main evented WrestleMania, even if it quite possibly is one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. In my opinion, I don't think I will ever watch this WrestleMania again. I think if maybe Lawrence Taylor actually goes into the Hall of Fame, maybe I would watch this match again. But for the rest of the show, I don't think anything is worth a rewatch. I know my buddy Miguel has reviewed this show years ago. I quite possibly want to go back and watch his show. I don't remember if he ripped this show or if he has fond memories of it being like when he was watching wrestling that it was. But this is a bad show. As I just scrolled up for a minute, it says Kevin Green was one of the guys that was at the show as well. He did some wrestling for WCW. He was a really good linebacker. He might be in the NFL Hall of Fame. I don't really remember if he got in there or not, but a great linebacker with the Charlotte, I was going to call them the Hornets, the Charlotte Panthers. He ended up coming and finding a revival in his career with the 49ers for 1 year and then going to the Steelers. I'm pretty sure I remember him. But this is it. I'm not going to tell you to watch this because this is a bad show, but let's go.